Alright, I really hope this is working, because if it isn't, I'm going to be very sad. Okay, so, hello. I'm going to be doing a what if video, and might not be what you're thinking. Well, it'll be in the title, so. But I am going to be doing something that I don't think anybody else has done. If somebody else has done this, please let me know, but I haven't seen anybody do it, so here we are. I'm going to be doing what if I was an MHA, but with Alastor's powers. So yeah, here we go. Okay, now before I get into the story, there is going to be a few things that I'm going to do with my character. His name, well, his actual name is not going to be Alastor, it's going to be Jack. His full name is going to be Jack Madora. Because I can. I'm making him Deku's brother because I can. And it'll be convenient for me. So yeah. There are going to be a few things that I'm going to add and subtract from this. As you can tell, I have the wiki pulled up on Alastor. So I can remember all of his powers. So his abilities right here. Eldritch powers, radio broadcasting, shadow manipulation, spatial warping, cooking, singing, bilingualism. So he can cook, he can sing, and he's bilingual. So he can speak in multiple languages. So yeah. There are going to be a few things that I'm going to be adding and subtracting from his powers. Well, mostly adding from his powers. To his powers. He is going to be insanely physically strong. Like, I'm going to say it like, when he, without training at all, when he's like, at the time that they go to UA and when he doesn't train, he is like, is stronger than Prime All Might. Like I'm not holding back on this character, like, because you want to know why? You want to know why? Because I can, and because it's fun. Also, sexuality, he's not going to be asexual. I'll let you guys figure out what ship it's going to be. So yeah. And he's not going to be a demon. It's actually going to be a quirk. It's going to be a quirk, a very overpowered quirk at that, but a quirk nonetheless. But it's going to also be special in the fact that it cannot be copied nor stolen. So, if you can't tell already, Monoma's going to get his ass kicked at some point. So, yeah. Yeah. And I'm doing this without a script, so just bear with me, alright? Just bear with me. Okay, let's get into this. Where was it? Not there, it was here. Okay, what picture? This picture. So, alright, let's get into this. When Inko was, giving birth... Okay. Sorry. Doing this off script, I gotta think of it. Okay. When Inko was giving birth, she actually gave birth to twins. One of them she named Izuku, and one of them Hasashi, because Hasashi, I would say Hasashi was there for the birth, because that would be a dick. He's still gonna peace out with the quote-unquote overseas work. I'm just assuming it's quote-unquote overseas work, but he's going to be overseas working in this one. There is not going to be no all for one as Deku's father. He's just going to be overseas. And Hasashi, because I'm going to say this, Hasashi is, like, Hasashi's father was American, and his mother was Japanese. And his father's name was Jack, so Hasashi would name my character, well, me, what would it be? Well, he's gonna name my character that I'm putting into MHA Jack after his father. So that's how I'm gonna, because Jack isn't really a Japanese name. If you really think about it, that is not something you would hear in Japanese. You'd hear like a 6-syllable word that you couldn't pronounce. I'm sorry to any Japanese people who happen to watch the video and get mad at that. That's how I'm an American. That's how your names sound to me. And if you don't like it, then I don't know what to say. So yeah. Okay. So let's cut to when they're 4. Yeah, 4. So Izuku's still going to be quirkless in this. So Bakugo's still going to bully him. But... Oh, and also, another thing. Before I go on, UA is not going to be a high school. It's going to be basically a college or a university. Because why the hell would you send 15-year-olds to fight literal supervillains with, like, some of them are weak-ass powers, some of them are actually very impressive powers, like muscular. I don't think it's a very smart idea to send high schoolers to do that kind of thing. High schoolers, of all people. I am a high schooler, and from my knowledge, high schoolers are, like, on the verge, are, like, a centimeter above being autistic. So, yeah. Like, they're dumb. They're so dumb. Why would you send... Okay, before I get on a rant, let's get back into this. So, yeah. Yeah, UA is going to be... The hero courses are going to be a college, yeah. Okay, back to the story. So, I'm going to cut to when they are 4. Now, whenever they go to the Quirk doctor, I'm going to say Jack does kind of look like Alastor does, with his skin, his eyes, his hair, his antlers. I think those are ears. Hold on. I think, like, those are ears. The things on his head are ears. I'm not sure. I'm gonna say they're ears. If they're not ears, then fuck me. But they look dead ass like ears. So yeah. So they know he has a mutation quirk, and not to mention the fact that he can contort his smile into that beautiful smile right there. I'm sorry, I'm a simp for Alastor, basically. I love him. He's so cool. So yeah, he's still gonna have some of Alastor's mindset, like, he smiles to show dominance, and if his enemies frown, he sees them as weak. Because that is a real thing in the wiki, I read it. I read that in the wiki, that's a real thing. So, they do some tests. Now, they say... Okay, so the Quirk doctor comes in, and I'm gonna say he's not that doctor. It's a different doctor. It's still a male doctor, but it's not the Dr. Ujiko, the all-for-one guy. So, yeah. He says that... The doctor says, "Well, Miss Midoriya, it appears your son Jack has one of the most powerful quirks I've ever seen. He seems to be capable. As you can already see from his looks, he has He has antlers, ears, and his skin is very gray. He can also his eyes. He can also contort his smile. He can also make that smile, which is actually kind of impressive, not gonna lie. But he can also seemingly summon what looks to be a 1930s microphone that has an eye and appears to be alive somehow. He can turn into shadow. He can control shadow. Hold on. I'm going to read off his abilities so I can know this. He seems to have... Hold on. Where's his powers? There it is. He seems to have the powers of shadow manipulation, spatial warping, I'm gonna say, like, sound ability, like, with the radio broadcasting, that kind of goes into, like, how Black Canary can, like, scream and basically kill you? It's kind of that. But, like, it's basically, take President Mike's maximum output of a scream, times that by 100, then make Jack be able to yeet that out of his hands, his microphone, and his mouth. So, yeah. There's that. He even says this. He can... Do you know the pro hero President Mike? Inko says, yes, I know him. I know of him. I don't know him personally, but I know of him. The doctor says, yeah, Jack can basically output 100 times his screams. And Inko's kind of like, the fuck? Like, what? Like, should I be worried? The doctor says, no. He seems to have it under perfect control, actually. He can even shoots the sonic blast out of his sonic blast out of his hands, and even out of the microphone that I said he could summon. He seems to have spatial warping abilities, summoning portals, to being able to go through them, being able to turn into shadows and move with that. He also even summoned a portal on the ground that had tentacles coming out of it, and Iko's like, okay, kind of weird, because tentacles, if you know, you know. If you know, you know. Okay. Yeah. Whatever. So yeah. The doctor says he also seems to be able to speak in many different languages, despite not learning any of them prior, which is kind of weird, but kind of cool at the same time. This is the doctor talking, by the way. Yeah. So, yeah. Nico says, hold on. The doctor also says, and last but not least, he seems to have incredible strength for a child his age. He effortlessly picked up the entire... I would say that... Okay, they have, like, a table... Not a table. They have, like... The room they tested them in was made out of, like, solid concrete. Yeah, Jack just kind of effortlessly punched straight through that, so there's that. The doctor says this. He effortlessly punched through the concrete wall that was in that the testing room was in. So, there's that. And Inko's like surprised, scared, and happy at the same time that her son, one of her sons, has this much power. And the doctor says, and then, so, we have decided to call his quirk... What should I call his quirk? I'm gonna call his quirk Radio Demon, just because I'm unoriginal and out of idea and don't have any ideas. So, there's that. Doctor says, we decided to call his quirk Radio Demon. And the Inko says, won't that, like... Well, okay, does that mean it's evil? Doctor says, no, it's just the best way to describe it. It doesn't mean it's evil. At all. And Jack is going to be a hero. Jack is going to be a hero. Because he also admires All Might. Not because of his power and his heroism. Well, kind of his heroism. But mostly because of his fucking smile. As I said... Yeah, Alastor in canon smiles to show dominance, and All Might is always smiling. Well, to his knowledge, All Might is always smiling. So he's like, yeah, that man is very powerful. That man's pretty powerful. So yeah. And Inko then says, what about Izuku? And Doctor then says... Doctor then sighs and says, Izuku, based on the x-rays that we did, Izuku appears to be... Well, okay, no. He said, when Quirks first showed up, there was many tests done to figure out, to link the likelihood of having a quirk. And we've discovered that it's within the... that people who have a chance of developing a quirk normally always have only one joint in their pinky toe. They're supposed to be a more evolved, streamlined version of the human body. And the x-rays that you can see here are of Izuku's pinky toe. And as you can see, he has 2 joints, which means Izuku will most likely not develop a quirk. And why is my mic buzzing? There we go. Okay. Where was I? Oh yeah. Same face as in the kind of the same conversation as in canon goes on with Izuku being quirkless and him like being distraught over this. Like completely distraught. He drops his All Might figure and loses that precious smile that we saw in that one episode. You will protect this fucking smile. Okay, back on topic. Like, Jack being, like, the loving brother that he is, like, Jack loves and appreciates his brother because who doesn't? Well, teenage brothers don't, but that's beside the point. They're like 4, so they love each other. So he tries to cheer him up, but it seems to be no use. So, yeah. Once they get to preschool the next day, I'd say everybody already knows Jack has a quirk, because look at him. Yeah, they already know he has a quirk. So, Jack shows off all the abilities that he can do, the spatial warping, super strength, the getting the staff that is alive. And I also read that the staff that he has, is actually a physical part of his body. So that's kind of weird, but that's pretty cool also. How long have I been recording for? 18 minutes, okay. It's pretty cool, too. So, yeah, he shows him off all the abilities. Aside from the sonic scream, because he doesn't want to kill anyone. So, yeah. And Bakugo then goes over and asks Izuku what his quirk is. Izuku then sadly says that he's quirkless. So Bakugo starts and okay. Now I'm going to go to the next day where Bakugo actually starts bullying him and being mean to him. Jack picks up on this like he like was playing, has basically what is a 6th sense, turns his head 80 degrees and is like, the fuck are you doing, Bakugo? Bakugo's like, what the fuck? Not really, because they're like 4, but he's like, what the... And something I forgot to mention that he didn't show when they were doing the test, Alastor can, like, what was it called? Hold on. What was it called? It's basically, like, not Mr. Fantastic, but is Mr. Fantastic at the same time. What was it called? Flexibility. Okay, here's some other powers that we have. Whoa. Okay. Something I didn't notice go down. Okay, so I'm kind of stupid. I didn't go down here to unique abilities to know all of his powers. All of his unique powers to him. Okay, so retcon when they were doing the thing, apart from the the ones up here that I already said, these ones, These ones right here. So I'm going to add the ones that are down here as well. Okay, so yeah, we got natural abilities, demon transformation. He's going to get that later. Bilingualism, cooking, musical dancing, and theatrical talent. He naturally has that. Broadcasting has that. Flexibility. Alastor can position his body into numerous unnatural poses, such without hurting his joints, as he has also been shown to able to turn his head 180 degrees. So he can do that. And I would beg to differ, and I would argue that he can turn his head all the way around without damaging himself. So he turns his head all the way around, like 80 degrees, looks Bakugo down, and calmly says, "What do you think you're doing, Bakugo?" Scaring the shit out of Bakugo, because he's 4, and another kid just turned his head all the way around. He has wild intellect, so it's quite cunning individual, which result of him being one of the most powerful overlords held in hell through his tricks and deal-making. He's always strategizing and thinks ahead before proceeding to execute a plan. He is very, very, very smart. Like, when he gets to I'm going to say this, when he gets to the entrance exam, he is smarter than Nezu. I'm just going to say that. He's not as smart as Nezu, or smarter than Nezu right now. He's of a slightly higher intelligence than the people his age, but yeah. Unique ability, shadow manipulation, ultra control, spatial warping, portal creation. There's portal creation. Voodoo magic. Alastor clenches his fist until drops of blood can be seen. Okay, that's weird. He does have pyrokinesis, manifestation. Alastor can summon. He can summon stuff. Photokinesis. During his introduction, he has been shown to be able to project red glowing light from his eyes as well as his microphone. So he can, like, kind of emit light from his eyes. And since he has photokinesis, he can play movies through his eyes. Like, he can project a screen through his eyes onto a wall and play a movie. And since he has wild intellect, he can watch a movie, remember every little detail of it through the entire movie. Because, like, he doesn't need to blink, technically, so he can just do that. He can just go without blinking forever and replay the movie. So that's like, yeah, that's the most useful power I've ever heard of. He can also outfit alteration. Alastor is capable of changing the outfits of his targets as well as his own with a snap of a finger without having to do it manually. Now that right there is what I call useful. Am I right or am I right? Tell me in the comments. Is that a useful power or is that not a useful power? Tell me. Okay, choose from, in the comments, I want you to choose from between photokinesis and outfit alteration. Which is more useful? Tell me. I would like to know. Okay, I'm getting very much off topic. I need to get back on. I'm sorry, but I had to. I'm known for my rants. Alright. So yeah. Jack walks up to Bakugo. Walks in between them two, because he's a little bit taller. Because, look at how tall that man is. Isn't Alastor like 7 feet? Yeah. Yeah, Alastor's like 7 feet in canon, so yeah. So yeah, he walks up in between them, calmly asks Bakugo what do you think you're doing? And his eyes are like kind of glowing red, because his eyes do look like that. His eyes are kind of glowing red. So yeah, and Bakugo kind of gets freaked out about this and just walks away. They're like out in the playground, I think. So yeah, he's kind of runs away because he's scared. Like, if I saw that, I'd be scared shitless. If it's a child, if it's an adult, I'd be scared shitless if I saw that. If I saw a toddler 180 his head, get up with his head still 180, turn his body to walk over, like his head staring me down, I would freak the fuck out. I would run. So, don't judge me. You'd be scared too. He turns around, asks Izuku if he's okay. Izuku says, yeah. And there's that. So, we're going to time skip to when they are... Okay, so it wouldn't be when they're in middle school, it'd be when they're in high school? Yeah, it'd be when they're in high school. Like, take the opening scene, take the beginning of the anime, but put it in high school. So, yeah. It's the last day of high school, last senior year. So, I have, what, 3.5 more years till I experience that one, so... Yeah, well, it's 2020, so it's almost 2021, so 3.5 more years, yeah. Well, 3 more years. Yeah. So, yeah. Last day of high school. The teacher walks in, and the teacher says, now, I could give you these college application forms for you to fill out, but then he throws into the air. But why waste my time? I know you all want to go to the hero course, everybody getting excited and using their quirks except for Bakugo, Izuku, because he doesn't have one, and Jack, because he is too cool for that. Technically, he's already using his quirk because he's a mutation quirk as well, so there's that. Like, he wears the school uniform, but he, like, changes the color of it. Like, they've tried to tell him to not do this, but he just refuses. Like, they're a little scared of him, because... Tell me, would you be scared of that? If like, this walked up to you and said, I'm not changing my clothes, would you be scared of it? Would you be scared of this? I would be scared of this. I would be scared shitless of this. If I saw that in real life. I'd be like, yeah, that's cool, but you're gonna kill... I have a feeling you're gonna kill me, so I'm running. So, yeah. So, he doesn't... They're just kind of giving up at this point, because he's not going to. And he is freaking smart as shit. And he basically has the highest grades in the class out of everyone. So, yeah. Like, his ass is smarter than the teachers. He would sleep some of the... He's the kind of person who would sleep in most of the classes, but when they have, like, an assignment, he would wake up, do the assignment in, like, 20 minutes, and then fall right back asleep, and the assignment would be 100% correct. He's that kind of person. And, like, I'm gonna say this just for funsies. Bakugo tried to explode wake him up one time, and he did wake up. He woke the fuck up, and Bakugo was scared. Because, basically... Hold on. Just imagine this, but, like... Just imagine this. Asleep, sitting at a desk. Bakugo explodes his desk. There was, like, smoke everywhere, and the desk was kind of broken. And as the smoke cleared, you see this looking at you, antlers stretched out and all, and... blood kind of coming from his eyes, or not. There wasn't any blood. There wasn't, because that is blood coming from his mouth. His eyes were glowing like that. His antlers were like that. He was just like, you dare challenge me. His ears were like that, because, see, those are ears. I knew they were ears. So, yeah. And Bakugo kind of backed up, like, pure fear plastered all over his face. So, yeah, Bakugo knows not to fuck with Jack at all. So, yeah. I'm sorry if there isn't a lot of dialogue in this. Not one. I'm not too good at doing dialogue. Okay. Stop ranting. Stop ranting. Okay. Alright. So, yeah. Teacher throws all the papers in the air, does what he says in canon, and Bakugo does his speech like, don't put me in with these extras, teach. I'm I've got the highest scores in the mock. I scored highest in the mock tests, and I have the best chance of getting to UA. The teacher then says, "Your grades are impressive, Bakugo, but you did not score the highest." Bakugo says, then like goes, "Nani the fuck?" Like getting all angry, like, who did better than me? And teacher then says, "Jack did better than you, and Midoriya got the same as you. Jack did better than you, and Izuku got the exact same as you." Like, okay. Bakugo knows not to fuck with Jack at all. It's like, he doesn't want to die. But, so he gets really angry he's visibly angry at Jack, and Jack and everybody else knows this, can see this, but he walks over to Midoriya, or no, well, he doesn't walk over to Midoriya yet. And teacher then says, "We have 3 people wanting to go to UA." Bakugo then, like, 3? What? He then yells, "Alright, which one of you extras is going to UA? Is trying to get into UA? I'm the only one worthy to go to that school." Teacher then says, "The first one, Bakugo Katsuki, Jack Midoriya." Everybody then starts, like, whispering, like, "Yeah, he's gonna get in. He's very powerful." But do you really think they'll accept him? I mean, he does look more like a villain than anything. Jack hears this, looks at them. They, like, shut the fuck up, like, yeah, because that's gonna be scary. And then he says, then, "Izuku Midoriya." Bakugo then stops in his track. Everybody looks over at Midoriya and start laughing. Until Jack then just says, "Shut up, everyone, shut up." And his voice starts to distort a bit. You remember, if anybody's watched the CW Flash, you remember how, who was it? Reverse Flash's voice distorted when he uses his powers? Take that, make it a bit deeper. Or, no, actually, no. Jack talks normally most of the time, but he can distort his voice to sound like a 1930s radio. So he does that. He's like, "Everyone, shut up." Distorting his voice to sound like a radio. Everybody very quickly shuts up because they've seen what he is capable of, and he is not afraid to hurt anyone. He's not afraid. Like, the thought that's going through their mind is, well, they think that he, like, okay, how do I describe this? I don't know how to describe this. They don't think Jack would be afraid to kill anyone who is bullying his brother. So they're like, "Yeah, we don't want to die, so we're going to shut up." That was their collective thought, even Bakugo's collective thought, because, yeah, he's a little scared of him. But his pride is kind of makes him arrogant and aggravate Jack a little bit. But then Jack always puts him back in a line by just talking and looking at him. So, yeah. Midoriya is feeling depressed still, but he has a bit more confidence thanks to Jack protecting him from Bakugo's bullying most of the time. And cheering him on like a good brother would. So, yeah. So, everybody's about to leave school. Jack then says to Midoriya that he's going to go grab something from his locker and he'll be back. Midoriya then says, "Okay," and Jack leaves. Bakugo and his lackeys take this as an opportunity to get some bullying in. So, the thing in canon when they explode his notebook and then tell him not to go to UA, to withdraw. they then tell Jack. Jack is walking. They don't notice him, but Jack is about to walk into the room, and can hear them. And they tell him, "Why don't you take a swan dive off the roof, and maybe you'll get a quirk in your next life?" Jack hears this, and is like, "So you have chosen death." In his mind, it's just, "So you have chosen death, Bakugo, Katsuki Bakugo." They then hear Bakugo and his lackeys then hear the door open and then close. They turn around, nobody's there. The lights in the room begin to flicker. It looks... hold on. They then look out the window, and it looks like it's night. Midoriya then gets pulled in through a portal to outside of the room, where he then sees Jack, and he's like, "Thanks for that, but what the heck was that? Why did the doors close, and why does it look like it's night outside?" Jack then says, "Shh. I'm going to scare them. I'm going to scare them for what... I am going to traumatize them for what they've said to you." And Midoriya's then like, "Okay, Jack, blah, blah, blah." Izuku then said, okay, if I say Midoriya, or by accident, I am referring to Deku. I might say Izuku, I might say Jack, or I might say Midoriya, I might say Deku. Just bear with me on that one. Alright? Deku then says, "I don't think we need to go that far." Jack then says, No. I want to do this. Let me do this." Jack then disappears. Jack then turns into a shadow and disappears. Now, cut back into the room that they're in. They're confused, and Bakugo tries to explode the door. It doesn't work. Bakugo tries to open the window. Bakugo tries to open the window because the windows are closed. It doesn't work. He tries to blow up the window. It doesn't work. He soon comes to realize that his quirk is starting to not work at all. Neither are his lackeys' quirks. I think one of them was like stretchy fingers or whatever the hell that was. I don't remember what the other one was, but whatever. So yeah. They then see the staff standing, or standing up, propped up, where in the middle of the classroom. Now, they were looking at the window. They didn't notice. Then they look around. All the desks are gone, and just the microphone is standing there. They're confused because I'm gonna say this: they've never seen Jack summon the microphone at all. They've never seen it. Somehow, they've never seen it. Then Bakugo walks up to the microphone and grabs it. As soon as he grabs onto it, his hand begins to burn, like as if it was on fire. If he feels it, then he immediately lets go in pain. He looks at his hand; it's completely fine. He is like, "What the hell? What is this?" Tries to grab it again. He feels the burning, but it's even hotter. As soon as he takes his hands away, his hands are completely fine. He's very confused at this point. Turns around, his lackeys are gone. It's like, okay, this isn't funny. What is happening here? He then hears in a distorted take the 1930s radio noise or voice, make it okay. Jack then says in his distorted 1930s radio voice, "You've made a mistake, Bakugo, Katsuki Bakugo. Bakugo then turns around because he knows that voice. Then he sees the full demon form, which is... Hold on, let me find it. Let me find it. How does one pause this? Alright, let me see if I can find it. Okay. This. I can't find the picture. Okay. He sees this. Antlers, blood coming out of his mouth, eyes glowing, everything. He sees it. He gets rightfully scared shitless and falls to the floor, backing up against the wall as Jack slowly walks towards him. His antlers growing in size, his eyes becoming old-time radio knob things. Like, if you've seen Hazbin Hotel, you should know what I'm talking about. And then cut to Midoriya's point of view, where he then just hears Bakugo scream in pure terror, and then a thump on the floor. Jack then walks back through a portal into behind Midoriya. Says, "Well, let's go home." Midoriya then turns around quickly and says, "Oh, you scared me. What did you do to Bakugo? I heard a scream and a thump, and then what happened?" Jack then says, "It's best not to worry about it, brother." Midoriya then says, "Okay." He's like, Midoriya's thinking like, what the fuck did he do to them? It's like, I hope they aren't. Midoriya then says, "Are they dead? You better not have killed them." Okay, no, he doesn't say that. Midoriya then says, "Did you kill them?" Jack then says, "Oh, no. I simply scared them a bit. They should be fine." Midoriya then says, "Should?" Jack then says, "Don't worry about it, brother." And they go home. Now, the Sludge villain incident does happen. Sludge villain incident does happen. So they're walking under a bridge. So they decide to take a shortcut because Jack feels like Jack kind of wants to walk around. So yeah, they take a shortcut home, where Jack then says, "Wait." Midoriya then says, "What is it?" Jack then turns around, walks back over to the sewer crate, to the sewage thing, the manhole that's there, and then says, "Get out of there." Midoriya is then confused, like, what? Until he sees the Sludge villain come out of the sewer grate, look at Jack and say, "How did you know I was there?" Jack then says, "A lucky guess, I get. I guess you could call it luck." The Sludge villain says, "Well, whatever. I need your body. I didn't know the freak was in town." Jack then says, "Well, that's not very polite, now is it?" His antlers growing a bit, his eyes glowing a bit, and becoming radio knobs. And opening a portal, he opens a portal that then, he opens a portal with the tentacles that then grabs onto the Sludge villain. And the Sludge villain's confused because he's made of sludge. Nothing can really grab him per se, but the tentacles are somehow grabbing him, which he notices and says, "How are these grabbing me? I'm made of sludge." Jack then says, "It's a secret." a secret that I'm not going to tell you. And this is when All Might runs around the corner and yells, "I am here!" in his voice until he's like, "Wait, what the?" He just sees a kid's with antlers, and his eyes are glowing red, holding the Sludge villain with tentacles coming out of a portal, which looks like it's from hell. He's like, "What the fuck did I walk into?" Okay, he's like, "What the fuck did I walk into?" Jack then looks over and sees All Might. He doesn't fanboy like he normally does, but Izuku does. He runs over to All Might asking if he can get his autograph. All Might then says yes, but after I deal with this villain. Jack then says, "Are you blind? I already dealt with him." He's like, Sludge villain is like knocked out at this point, because, yeah. When All Might was talking to Izuku for that brief moment, Jack knocked him the fuck out. You wanna know how he knocked him the fuck out? Basically roasting him, because how he does have pyrokinesis, and I'll say his pyrokinesis, I'm gonna make this, his flames are black. He has black flames. So, and the black flames are the absolute strongest flames. If Naruto's taught me anything, black flames are the strongest flames. So yeah. So yeah, basically just heating up the Sludge villain until he got knocked out. Jack knows not to kill, but if push comes to shove, he's not afraid to. So yeah. Oh man. Hold on. Man, I'm recording for 47 minutes and I'm barely on with the story. Wow, I gotta pick up the pace. Okay. All Might then says, "Kid, that's a very impressive quirk. What is it? Why does it look like these tentacles are coming from hell?" He just kind of looks down through the portal and he basically sees hell. Well, he doesn't see hell, he sees the Has-Been Hotel hell version. I guess, I don't know. He doesn't, I don't know, he just sees a realm of fire where the tentacles are coming out. Jack then says, "Don't worry about it. Here, I got the villain for you. Now, could we have autographs?" Smiling, like as he normally does, because, smiling is how he shows dominance, so smile. And if you frown, you are weak in his eyes does not apply to his brother, because it's his brother. He's gonna be, and his brother is quirkless, so he's like, "I gotta be the nicest person in the world to my brother, and I will beat the shit out of whoever bullies him." So yeah, there's that. All Might then says, "You didn't answer my second question." Jackson says, "Oh, sorry, All Might. My quirk is called Radio Demon. It makes me look like this. It allows me to summon a 1930s era microphone, which I can blast sound out of. That is 100 times stronger than present mics. Streams. I have pyrokinesis. Therefore I can use black flames, the strongest kind of flames." All Might's like, "The fuck?" He goes on explaining all of his powers and abilities that I'm not going to go through again because you already saw it. All Might is very impressed. He's like, "Okay, this man be candidate worthy." And then he asks Izuku what his quirk is. And Izuku gets very sad and says, "I don't have one." All Might then says, "Oh, I'm sorry." Jack's like, "You don't have to apologize to him like it would. You don't have to. Jack's thinking, why are you apologizing? It's not as if he's mental. He's not as if he's disabled. What the fuck? He doesn't say this out loud. So, yeah. So, All Might then... Jack then puts the Sludge villain in a bottle, gives it to All Might, and he jumps off. Now, since his time limit, since he spent... I think... Okay, he spent a little more time there than he would have, and he did kind of overexert himself a little bit more. So, he's running out of time very fast. So, he does a little bit more force than he needed to onto the jump. And that, in turn, made the bottle come loose and fall out of his pocket. Right down to where... right into an alley. Well, not in... Well, yeah, into an alleyway. And there are... Okay. Now, something that I see most YouTubers do when they do an Alastor what if. I haven't seen too many, but I know that they do this, and I'm going to do it too, so please don't. I got this idea from other YouTubers that do what ifs. I don't know their names right now because there were a few. I always see them do this. They make whoever has the Alastor powers, like, basically a radio host as well. Like, so I'm going to do this. Since he has most of Alastor's demeanor and power, all of his powers, and plus some. He is kind of a pretty big radio host because Alastor in his life was a very good radio host. So he is going to be a radio host, a very damn good one at that. Like, he is very well known. But, like, All Might doesn't listen to the radio, so... He's very well known among the radio... Or, not in the radio world. He's a podcaster. He actually has been on the news a few times. Because he's that fucking good. But All Might knew who he was, but he didn't know what his quirk was. Because Jack never wanted to reveal his quirk because he says he's going to try and be Hero. And I feel that the best thing for a hero to have is the element of surprise. Who knows? Future enemies could be watching this right now, and they would come back to if I make any enemies in the future, they could come back and watch a recording of this on the internet and know what my powers are. So, powers and weaknesses are. So, I'm not going to reveal anything. And news people are like, okay, that's smart. Everybody watching it was like, yeah, that's a pretty smart idea, actually. I should do that. So, yeah. If you hear noise, I'm throwing something around. Anyway. Oh, it's hot in here. It's very hot in this room. Yeah. So, they're just walking back home. Madora is feeling a little depressed. Until they hear a very large explosion in the distance. Now, Midoriya, still being the quirk nerd that he is, wants to go over and check it out. And Jack then says... Jack agrees to go with him because he respects his brother and his interests. So he goes over with him. Now, when they get there, they see the Sludge villain from before. But they see that he has Bakugo, one. But they also see that he has someone else. A girl with purple hair. Hold on. I think it was purple hair. I don't know. Well, okay. Back on that, I'll figure that out later. They see a... Oh, I think it is purple hair. Is it? Is it purple hair? I think it is purple hair. Okay, whatever. They see a girl with... They see Bakugo. They also see a girl with purple hair stuck in the Sludge villain that they had captured that All Might had captured previously. Now, Midoriya, like in canon, just kind of bolts in there trying to help out. And he does do the same thing. He throws his backpack at the Sludge villain, kind of blinding him. And tries to get Bakugo out. The heroes are yelling at him to stop. Then Jack comes in and says, "Now, now, now. From what I've seen when I got here, all of you seem to be useless." Like, the heroes are like, "What the fuck did you just say?" Then they realize who it is. Well, yeah, they recognize him. Well, okay, some people in the crowd recognize him as the radio demon, which is what he's called he's a radio host. He's also been on the news. That's what he's called. That's his nickname, because he's basically toppled over everyone in the radio world, including President Mike, which President Mike was salty about that, but he was like, okay. He was salty about that, but he also knew that he couldn't be like a radio like the best forever, so he was happy that he was kind of happy that there is another person who is doing radio and doing a better job than him. He's kind of happy about that fact. And they've even met a few times. So yeah. And then he also runs in because Alastor, Jack on his own without teleporting is hella fast. He's faster than Ida already. He's hella fast. Pun intended. So, yeah. So, he does run in as well. Really fast. And does summon two portals behind where Bakugo and the girl are, pulls them out using tentacles, and opens two portals behind him, and the tentacles grab them out of the Sludge villain and then put them behind them. And then Jack then yells to Midoriya, "Brother, you might want to move." So, no, he doesn't yell that. Yeah, he does yell, brother, you might want to move." Midoriya then hears this and tries to get out of the way. Jack then says, I thought I took care of you," summoning a ball of black flames in his hand, his eyes glowing red. Sludge villain then sees who it is and is like, "Oh shit." He tries to say I'm sorry, and then Jack just throws the fireball at him, knocking him the fuck out. This Sludge villain is almost fucking dead at this point. So yeah. Now, All Might doesn't really doesn't show up. He doesn't have time to. He got over there, but he doesn't show up. He didn't have time to show up because Jack and Midoriya took care of the whole thing. Jack mostly, but Midoriya did help out. He served as a distraction so Jack could get his get the portal ready. He served as he distracted the Sludge villain so Jack could put the portals into place sneakily. Jack then walks over to the girl who is there. Now, this girl is Jiro. Jiro didn't see Jack before, because, like, getting suffocated. Jack then says, "Are you okay, miss?" Jiro then says, "I'm fine," then looks up and sees it's Jack, the radio demon. I'm going to say in this, basically, Jack was her idol. Because I think in canon she loved music. And she also, thanks to Jack, she also did love listening to the radio, listening to his podcast. It's kind of like in canon with Alastor, his demeanor and his voice, his demeanor kind of takes over the entire show anytime he's on screen. So it was kind of like that. Why did I go southern there for a second? I'm sorry. It's kind of like that. So she immediately gets tense and giddy, and she asks for his autograph because she says that she's been a huge fan and that Jack is her idol. Jack being used to this and actually loving his fans, because he's not like the heroes who do it for. He doesn't do it just for fame and fortune. He does it because he actually loves doing it. He's kind of like All Might in the sense that All Might is a hero because he legitimately just wants to help people. Jack is a radio host because he legitimately wants people to enjoy listening to the radio instead of just watching TV again. Watching TV, since he's kind of like that. And thanks to him, radio has become a lot more popular than it normally is. So yeah, he does give Jiro an autograph and begins to ask her if her name and what she's thinking about, if she is. Blah. Okay, please think about your lines. Jack then asks again, "Are you okay?" because she didn't answer. She then says, there we go, that she is fine, thanks to you. Jack then says, "You're welcome." "Well, then you're welcome, miss. After all, I can't be a hero without saving people. Saving people in need, no matter what." He then asks, "Are you planning to be a hero by any chance?" Jiro then says, "Yeah, I'm planning to go to UA." Jack then says, "Well, I guess I'll see you there." Jiro's in like, "What?" Like, some of the crowd hears this, and there are a few fans in the crowd, like, he's going to UA, what? He's definitely going to get in. Like, cheering him on. And then he sees that his brother is being scolded by the heroes. He then walks over, basically smacks some of the heroes across the face, saying, I don't understand why you are... Hold on. I don't understand why you are scolding him. He was more useful than all of you. He was more brave and useful than all of you. If anything, you should be thanking him. Come on, brother. let's go home. Let's go home. You don't want to have Mother worried. Everybody's in like, brother? What? Everybody's like confused. Like, wait. Jiro's like, wait. You two are brothers? But you look nothing alike. Alastor, or not Alastor, oh god. If I call him Alastor by accident, I'm sorry. Alastor is going to be his hero name, so if I call him Alastor by accident, I'm sorry. Jack then says, well, mutation quirks are a thing, so we are brothers, we don't look anything alike, but mutation quirks are a thing. You should know. Because Jiro has a mutation quirk. Jiro then says, oh, I'm sorry. Jack then says, it's alright. Most people don't forget that when they see us at first glance. Jiro then walks over to Izuku and asks him what his quirk is, if it's similar to Jack's. Izuku then quietly says that he's quirkless, and Jack then says, "Oh, it's okay, brother. Just because you're quirkless does not mean you aren't brave. After all, you were the first person to run in, despite all the you were the first person to run in, even with all the heroes here. They didn't. You were more useful than them." This makes Izuku feel a lot better. And Jack says, "Oh, come on, brother. Let's go home." They then go home, and as they're walking home, All Might, in his buff form, runs around the corner, like saying, "I am here," and then immediately spitting up blood, buffing down immediately. And hold on. Okay, rewind that. All Might then runs around the corner, and they're both excited and wondering. Izuku got excited. Jack's just wondering, wait, why is he here? Wait, why is he here? Does he live here? Does he live near here? Why is he here? And then All Might immediately spits up blood, turning buff. Jack and Izuku freaks out. Jack then runs in front of Midoriya, summoning the microphone and yelling, "Who are you?" All Might then does reassure them that he is All Might, even showing them the injury and explaining where it came from. And he then looks at Jack and asks if he wants. He does also explain One for All and asks Jack if he wants to be a successor. Jack then says, "Nope. But I do have a recommendation for you." All Might then says, "Who?" Jack then steps aside and points to Midoriya. Points to Izuku. All Might then says, "But why?" But why not, sir? Why not, young man?" "Quite simple. I don't want it. My brother here does not have a quirk of his own, despite has the heart of a hero, but does not have a quirk of his own. So, and I would feel very selfish if I took it for myself and crushed my brother's dreams. So, here you go. And besides, he has more of a heart of a hero than I do. He was the first person to run in. Despite knowing the dangers, he ran in to save both of their lives, despite one hating Bakugo for being a bully to him, and not even knowing the girl that was there. Despite this, he ran in and tried to save them. So, I believe that he should be the next inheritor of One for All, and not me." All Might is taken aback by this, but is also very impressed with Jack and his love for his brother, even denying All All Might's power, because All Might doesn't know that Jack is, like, 100, like, 10-fold times strong, like, 10 times stronger than him, basically. He's more than 10 times stronger than him, but he's way fucking stronger than him. So, yeah. Jack doesn't reveal this, because it would... Because, like, yeah. So, yeah. And then, the 10 months of training start. And I am going to end here, because I've been recording for, like, what, now?